I like the pasture trials myself. I've had good success in the arena trials, but I'd rather work outside. That's what my dogs do for a living.
Cattle dog trial is a really great dog trial here. This is a great trial. The main thing, in our country, we don't have as many trees and stuff, and your outrun is better here because your dog's got to go hunt the cattle. This is a good trial.
It's the most real trial that I've seen.
This trial and these handlers, is as good a group of dogs and handlers as there is in the United States on cattle dogs.
The best you'll find, this is the way to do it. It is the name of the game. Bring cattle in, work them inside a facility.
It's a pretty good trial. And they had some improvements from last year, and as long as they keep improving, I think they'll do real good. It's a good trial.
Cut. I'm Rick Scrivener with Top End Cattle Dogs. We've put a little bit of a video here together, a few clips of how the trial went. Hope you enjoy it. We've got some highlights of some of the runs. We've got some interviews with some of the spectators and some of the contestants, and hopefully they'll learn a little bit more about our dog trial and maybe spark some interest, and hopefully we can get you to come participate and join us for next year. Top End Cattle Dog Trial is all about ranchers and farmers having an opportunity to come showcase their dogs and the quality working cattle dogs that are out there across the country. We've had the opportunity to have people from California all the way to South Carolina show up this year. We experienced a tremendous amount of growth from our inaugural year of 2009. 2010 trial had 40 dogs in the open class and had 20 dogs in a maturity class, a young dog class governed by age. We used 30-month-old pups and younger to run in that trial, and it turned out to be really phenomenal. Hopefully you'll get some enjoyment from this video and get some interest sparked, and we look forward to seeing you guys next year.
What's your name?
Roy Devers.
Roy? I hear you're a legend, is that true?
Not really.
Not really?
I was in the rodeo deal. I don't know about the dog deal.
Well, what'd you do in the rodeo deal?
Well, we rodeoed all my life. So every time I was from 16 years old on through the PRC, I had the whole deal. So.
Riding broncs or what?
Yeah. And then I got into bronzing and done Western art and stuff, and I've done a little of everything.
How has that helped you with the dogs?
Well, the dog deal I got into after I worked for the Texas Animal Health for 30 years, retired at that deal, and we always run dogs on cattle and the big pastures and stuff, and we used dogs on. There was one ranch that we worked on that had 1,500 other cows on 5 different ranches, so we used dogs on them. But I just started trialing a few, not too terrible long ago, but it's been, I guess, a while now because I'm getting old now.
What kind of dogs do you
Border
like?
Collie. I have Border Collies. I used to have Kelpies and Border Collies, but mainly right now I've just got Border Collies and stuff.
Why do you like Border Collies best?
Well, my Border Collies are really tough cattle dogs. And they bite a lot, and they're still, a lot of them have got good control. I don't have as good control as a lot of these guys do on mine, but I send mine in pastures and gather 100 head of cattle and stuff with one dog.
So how old are they when you start them?
I don't start any of the dogs. I get around them and mess with them when they're pups and stuff, but to socialize them and everything, and have my grandkids do some. But then on the training, I don't start till they're a year old. When they're a year old, I start training on the dogs and train for them and kind of work them on through the deal.
Is it better to train them out in the open or train them in trial size?
Well, you got to have a little of both. When you first start out, you got to have control of them, so you have them in a smaller pen, working dogs in a tighter place and stuff where you can have a little control on them and stuff. And then when they progress up, then you go to the pasture and stuff and start bringing in cattle and stuff. And hopefully by that time they'll fetch cattle to you. That's what you mainly do.
So how do you know if they're going to make it or break it?
Yeah, you never know. And I don't know how many good dogs you'll run into, but you'll go through a lot of dogs getting some good dogs.
Do some dogs mature later than others?
Yeah, some dogs are really good, and my bloodline has mainly been Hank and some of those foundation dogs and stuff, and I got some good dogs from Bo Sure that is up in Montana now, but he used to be down here by Hardesty, which I live in the top of the Panhandle, and that's mainly where he was for a while, and he had that Willie and a lot of those good dogs, and I have Grizz bred dog lines and stuff, and Hank bred is two of the main dogs that I like.
What do you think about the cattle dog trials?
Cattle dog trial is a really great dog trial here. This is a great trial. It's really good. The main thing, in our country, we don't have as many trees and stuff, and dogs can see further than what these dogs do here with them trees and stuff in the way. Your outrun is better here because your dog's got to go hunt the cattle and stuff. Up here we got section or two sections or something. It's flatter, and you know, not as rough. We don't have as many trees, so
yeah.
This is a good trial.
So you think this really determines a good dog?
Yeah.
Cool. Good.
Thank you, Roy.
Thanks. Been to jail.
No. All right, I can start. This is the line thing.
What kind of dogs do you have?
Hanging trees.
What's your name?
Fred Todd.
What's a hanging tree dog? Why do they call it the hanging tree dogs?
Gary Erickson developed them on the Hanging Tree Ranch.
So you don't want to hang them from a tree? What do you like about the hanging tree dogs?
Where we gather is really steep country.
So do you think that this trial is a good determination if your dog's going to make it or not?
Yeah, I think so. It's the most real trial that I've seen.
So how is it similar to working cattle at home, or is it?
Yeah, it is. The outruns are more what we use the dogs for.
So are you used to using more than one dog at a time?
Yeah, usually.
So how old is a hanging tree dog before it's usually at its peak?
Probably 2 to 3 years.
And what's your favorite line, bloodline?
I like the Boots and Juice cross, you know, Cypress has.
Where are they from?
They're from Oklahoma.
Thank you, Mr. Fred.
What's your name? Try
Dave
it.
Mollenauer.
Can you tell me the difference in the two Purina companies?
The difference in the two Purina companies, I can tell you now. I surely can. One of them is Ralston, and the other one is Nestle's.
So tell me how you got into cattle dog trials.
I like cattle dogs, and it ended up one of the things that I've had dogs from the time I was a kid. We had a dairy, and I had a dog that would go get the dairy cows and bring them back to you, and didn't have another cow dog until about 15 years ago, and I started trialing.
What kind of dog was that?
A border collie.
So do you stay with the border collies, or do you try other dogs?
I got border collies, and we got a thing now called razor dog.
All the dogs in this event this day, in this trial, were all sired by a dog named Razor. Dog owned by Dave Mollenauer in Clara, Oklahoma.
And the razor dogs are nothing more than my breed of dogs that are bred up out of Razor, which is a registered border collie. We've used the Cattle Master dogs, which is bred up by Roy Wilson, that are half border collie, 3/8 Kelpie and an 1/8 bulldog. They're a super tough dog, and as a matter of fact, probably 20% of what was running here today had razor blood in them. So, I mean, we're kind of proud of what we've done. But,
did you develop those dogs for the versatility, or what made you decide to?
We wanted something that's tougher than a regular, normal, everyday border collie. And we've got some that are just registered border collies. There's some that are good, but by the same token, we put some stuff in there that just makes them a little bit tougher. We have some that's called Australian collies that come in from Australia that are actually basically a Kelpie dog, but they're not the coloring and markings of a normal Kelpie. So they call them Australian collies, and that's where the Kelpie came from, was from the collie dog originally. And that's exactly what they are. The Kelpie was bred up using old Kelpie was the collie dog's name, bred up with the dingoes and whatever else was in Australia, and most people don't know that.
What's your idea of a perfect dog trial?
In the pasture, just like what we've got here. That's the ideal thing, a quarter of a mile outrun. If you can't go fetch cattle and bring them in, you don't have a cow dog.
So this is my first experience watching dog trials. This is probably as good as it gets in determining your real cattle dog.
It's one of the best you'll find. This is the way to do it. It is the name of the game. Bring cattle in, work them inside a facility, make sure that the dogs can do the work and not the handler. And whenever a handler is out there walking around and moving them and blocking them and so forth, that's fine. But the dog's got to be in play. And that's the way I look at it.
So, since this is my first time, how can I watch a dog work and know that it's a really good dog? What's one distinguishing trait?
Number one thing, you can't tell by looking. You got to see by acting, and the actions of this. Number one thing, a cattle dog is a dog that can take control of the cattle, can move cattle, and in any situation. If a dog will not bite on both ends, he is not a cow dog. If he will not bite a nose and turn one, if he doesn't get out in front and bite and turn a cow, if he doesn't get behind and drive and hit on the heel and push him, he's not a cow dog.
So does all this come from confidence?
Cannot do what the cow dog does.
Does all this come from a dog's confidence?
No. It doesn't come from confidence.
No?
It comes from breeding.
So genetics.
And if they don't have the genetics to do it, bred into them, you can't build a confidence. So everybody's got their own thing when it's said and done.
All right.
But to me, a cattle dog is a dog that will move cattle, that is controllable and trainable. If they're not trainable, they're not controllable, they can't do the job. It's just that simple.
Makes sense to me.
It's all over the world from one end to the other. And I've sold more dollars worth of yellow iron than anybody in the business. So I can talk fast if that's what you want to hear.
Let me hear a roll. Let me hear a roll.
I don't know. What do you want to hear? The regular little dollars or big dollars?
Started at 25.5.
35 to 35, 40, 40 to 40, 45, 50 down to 50, 45 and 50. I bet 45 down to 50 down to 50, 50 down 55 down to 55, 60, 60 down to 65 to 55 and 60 down sold it to me $55.
Top hand.